welcome back. We have glutes and hamstrings today. I am heading into my 8th and final week of my strength phase, which is exciting. I can tell my body is pretty maxed out. My body's like, okay, stick to these numbers and go in a hypertrophy phase. And if you know what I'm saying, we could definitely be friends because that's a little bit of weird terminology. So what I mean is for 8 weeks, I was working progressive overload, really trying to get heavy weight for, it's a low number for me, 8 reps. Now I want to no longer focus on how much weight I'm lifting, rather focus on the quality of reps and get back into a hypertrophy rep scheme, which is my favorite, at least 12 reps, and just sticking to these new numbers that I have in all of my favorite lifts. So today we are doing glutes and hamstrings with mostly a glute bias. And I weighed in today for the first time in a while because the scale is not my friend when I'm not in prep. As women, I feel like we get in our silly brains about like how much weight we need to weigh, and it's just a weird relationship for I think a lot of people. I'm 20 pounds over my stage weight, which is great. I was honestly assuming that I was gonna be like 35. So 20 pounds over my stage weight, exiting my strength phase, going into a hypertrophy rep scheme. This is good. It's all really good. We had a successful strength phase and I am just really excited. So one thing that I've really been loving is adding sprints into my workouts after my leg days. This, as a college athlete, my body just loves it. It's soaking it up. My fast twitch muscle fibers, I feel, were super dormant and they were like, feed us. So I've been sprinting and I think that that's why I've been able to stay fairly lean and just build a lot of muscle. So let's go hit this glutes and hamstrings day. I'm really excited about this one. First up on the menu is seated hamstring curls. I really have been loving seated hamstring curls over prone hamstring curls just because the connection has been absolutely insane. So we have 12 reps and then partials until failure. I only got 5 partials. Ew. Ow. Got 8 partials that time. My pantalones are so big. Taking them off. This is heavy. Okay, for my partials, I'm gonna go down a little so I can actually rep them out. Ooh. Yep. I would like to do reverse hack squat, but the hack squat at this gym, not my favorite. So we're gonna do prone, sorry, not prone, power squat, glute bias. We're gonna start with 2 plates because I'm a big girl. big roll. My butt. Going up. Last set. We have a superset of a single leg hamstring curl standing and a stiff leg deadlift on the pit shark. I've been loving stiff leg on the pit shark because you just have a little bit more stability since it's a cable, so I can feel stable while sending my torso forward and keeping that little micro bend to my knees. I really like it. If you don't have a pit shark, I'm sure you could just do it on a cable machine. Short people problems, you gotta get like a box for everything. I find that when you're on this machine, or like really any sort of hamstring isolation, I find that I don't feel the isolation unless I'm in a posterior tilt or like full hip extension. Don't know the anatomy behind that, but that's what I feel in my body. See, before I release down, I want to get into that hip extension. Whew. I'm on the lightest weight on this and it's still hard. So whenever I do supersets, it's a shortened contraction. So the contraction is right here when the muscle is shortened, and then I'm doing a lengthened position. So the contraction here is lengthening my muscle. So I think that that's a perfect superset. You make it cramp and then you stretch it out. So the difference between an RDL and a stiff leg, or a deadlift and a stiff leg, is the way I position my body. A stiff leg deadlift starts from the ground, but my torso is gonna go forward, and I'm gonna have a really slight bend to the knee. Roll the shoulders back, lats engage. And what I wanna do is stretch my hamstring, so going forward with my torso, stretch. I'll go over the differences between a stiff leg deadlift, a deadlift, and an RDL. They're all different. This is a conventional deadlift, starting at the bottom. My hips and my knees move at the same time. I'm sinking my hips down. At the bottom there, I'm at about 90 degrees. This is a sumo deadlift. The only thing that's changing is my foot stance is wide, not too wide, but wide, and my toes are pointed out. This biases the glutes a little bit more. So you're still dropping the hips, and the knees and the hips move at the same time. A stiff leg deadlift also starts at the bottom, but I have a micro bend to my knees, and my torso kind of goes more forward. And then an RDL starts at the standing position, and now I'm gonna have a generous bend to the knees, but I'm only going down as far as my hips go back. My hips can't go back any further, so I'm gonna go up. So I'm not going further down with my torso just because I can. My torso stops once my hips stop moving back. I was only supposed to do 8 of those, but the connection felt so good, I had to keep going. Oh man, my hamstrings are probably the weakest part of my lower body, so it's hard for me to connect with them all the time. I tore my hamstring back in college, so I have a weirdness with one of them, but they've grown a lot. They've grown a lot. We have heavy hip thrusts, and then we're going to FS27 Cos Glute Bridge burnout. So that's fun. I'm hip thrusting on a tire, because I'm lazy. My butt. Sometimes you do a weight you've done before and you're like, nah. Plates are heavier this time. starting FST7, if you remember correctly, FST7 is fascia stretch training, 7 sets. I'm gonna do 8 reps of a cos glute bridge. Cos glute bridge, really the only difference between a cos glute bridge and a hip thrust is the range of motion. I'm not going all the way down. So it's like, think of like a half top rep. So 8 reps and 7 sets with a 30-second rest in between each set. And that rest is timed. This glute pump's gonna be massive. For FST7, you can pick your rep range. Sometimes I do 12, sometimes, like I'm doing 8 right now, you could do 10. Totally up to you. That was set 2. 30 seconds of repping is so long, and then 30 seconds of resting is so short. Set 3. My butt cheeks are burning. I'm sitting here and they're just on fire. Cramp, cramp, cramp. Set 4. Ow. So at peak contraction at the top, you try to maintain that when you're going down. So you're still squeezing as hard as you can. I can't stand when I see people like release their tension when they're going down on a hip thrust. Don't be that girl. Set 5. Two more. Ooh. You know when you finish a workout and you're just like, my butt is gonna be so sore. That's for sure. For sure, Z's. One more set. 15 seconds. Need some algas. My butt. That's a pump, dude. Whoa. You have a light 12 with your hips raised in a posterior tilt into a heavy seated 12 with a posterior tilt. Done. That was glutes and hamstrings. I am toast, and final workout of my strength phase. So I train lower body 3 to 4 times a week. Why? Because I am a wellness competitor, and our category calls for symmetrical glutes, quads, hamstrings, calves, small waist, and then a small upper body. So on my upper body days, I'm really only training like my shoulders. I'm training my side delts. They want to see nice delts, but I don't train chest, I don't train biceps, and I barely train triceps. So that's just not a focus for my category. And beyond that, I think when you're thinking about what category you want to go into, you have to think about the physique that you like to walk around in. Because if I was not bodybuilding and I was not doing the wellness category, this is still my dream physique. Is I want to have a smaller upper body, small waist, and a big lower body. That's also just my genetics. So I am enhancing my genetics in the gym. And me personally, I just don't like a super muscular upper body. So I train lower body. Now that I'm a more advanced lifter, I'm able to isolate muscle groups. So that's why you'll see me isolating quads, and then you'll see me isolating glutes and hamstrings. I've worked my way up to this because I used to be a quad dominant person, and that would mean that just my quads would overpower everything. Any movement I wanted to feel in my glutes, I felt it in my quads. So I had to dial back the weight, go through that mind to muscle connection phase, that foundational phase, and then work my way up to actually working progressive overload, getting stronger in my glutes and my hamstrings. So yeah, that's why I like to do a lot of lower body days, is because I can isolate and I can train each one very specifically and intentionally. So now what I'm going to be doing is keeping the same workouts, I'm keeping the same movements, but I am no longer trying to like go heavier and heavier and heavier. I'm gonna ideally keep the weight that I've worked up to and increase the reps. So I am hoping to just grow a lot of muscle during this phase, and my goal is to make 2,500 calories my maintenance calories. So what that means is build a lot of muscle, eat more food. That's like my dream. So see you guys next time. It'll probably be another workout or another movement. So let us know what you want to see next.